Truth foul. So shalom to everybody out there that's listening. Y'all can see my miniature library in my background. So I just like to say I hope everyone is having a fantastic day. All praises to the Most High. I'm not going to hold you guys up. I'm going to be going over Matthew 23 and 24, just breaking down these chapters in an in-depth study to show people who the enemies of the Father was and exactly what the Bible teaches of the end time. Point blank period. That's all we're going to go through today, showing when the Bible said that everything was going to be fulfilled using Matthew 23 and 24, because for some reason people do a lot of skipping around, and they like to skip around and they miss some of the points that's spoken of and taught in the Bible. So today we can skip around a little bit, but we're still going to keep the context of the Bible. All right. So, brother, let me know when you're ready for me to start. All right, bet. So now, Matthew 23 and 1. It says, Then spake Jesus to the multitude and to his disciples. So now we see that Christ is talking to a audience of people. Audience relevancy is important. We know that. So he's talking to a multitude of people and his disciples, saying, verse 2, the scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. So, in fact, my brother, I don't know if you know the backstory of some of the scribes and Pharisees, but they really had a seat called Moses' seat where they was able to sit in and judge the southern kingdom. So Moses' seat was actually a literal judgment seat that they sat on. So that's just a tidbit. You following, brother? I bet then. So now verse 3. All therefore whatsoever they bid you observe, that observe and do, but do not ye after their works, for they say and do not. So now, well, what do you think Christ was just telling them right there?
So basically, they tell you, they tell you on the law. They tell you that this all that law. They tell you on the laws, but they themselves are not following the law.
Right. So that's 100. So now we got to remember these are Hebrew speaking priests and Pharisees. These are Hebrew speaking. They knew the original language. They knew the Torah back and forth, but they still did not grasp the spirituality behind it, and they was misusing it. They were teaching correctly, but they wasn't applying it correctly. They wasn't even doing it themselves while they was trying to tell other people how to do it. And we pretty much see the same thing going on today if people want to say that they're following Torah. Oh, they can tell us, all of the stuff, but doing it is totally different. So now, verse 4. For they bind heavy burdens and grievous to be borne and lay them on men's shoulders, but they themselves will not move them with one of their fingers. So now it's letting you know that the Torah itself, it has some things inside of it that's burdensome to mankind. It was going to be very hard, full of labors, and all that stuff dealing with mankind in order to do Torah. So this came with, you remember, and we talked about this last night, the carnality behind the Torah compared to the spirituality behind the new covenant. So we know that, these burdens of doing the Torah was too heavy for them to have and stuff. But verse 5, but all their
Wait. Before we go to verse 5, when it says, but they themselves will not move them with one of their fingers. I'm not really relating that. I'm not getting that. So I got the part before that I understood it totally, but that statement right there, I'm not really grasping it.
Okay. Well, in other words, all it's saying is they would have you do some of the things in Torah, some of the hard things in Torah that they themselves would not put the work in to do. In other words.
Basically just reiterating
Yeah. Yeah. So he just pretty much, like you said, he restating it again. And as you can tell with Christ, listening to Christ, how he teaches stuff, he does that a lot. He does a lot of restating in different words a lot. That's pretty much how he teaches. And you,
it sound like me because when I try to tell like family member, somebody at work and stuff like that, when I try to teach something, I say the same thing in multiple different ways because I'm not sure which way, which way I say it is the way they best understand.
And brother, hey, that's an old ancient technique. See, as you can tell, man, we reading right now, man. They've been doing that since thousands of years ago. That's the best way to teach, to restate yourself over and over in different ways, so every type of person that learn different ways will understand what you're saying. So that's pretty much so you got it. So I mean, you can relate to this because I mean, but this is what Christ was doing. So now, we ready for verse 5? Okay, what it says, but all their works they do for to be seen of men. They make broad their phylacteries and enlarge the borders of their garments. So in other words, you know, just like the wearing the fringes things and all that stuff. They was doing it mainly to be seen. Just like today, you see a lot of people concentrate more on the fringes than the point of the fringes. You know what I'm saying? And I know you didn't experience, you didn't seen some of this when people, it could be a conversation that's full of glory, full of Christ, and then you have that Israelite come in, yeah, but where his fringes at? Where your fringes at? To take away from the whole point, the whole spirit, right? Take away from the.
I had that me a lot of times.
And it's all for a show. It's like they felt like if this makes them more holier and this gives them more recognition with mankind, meanwhile the inside of them looks like damaged goods. It look like it's all rotten. Their soul is rotten. But on the outside, oh man, they clean, man. They got the fringes on. Like even back then, they was taking their borders, man. They was enlarging the borders, so their borders was even bigger than the regular borders that the Israelites was wearing. So they was going out of the way doing extra stuff in order to please mankind. And we have the same thing going on today. But
trying to make things like that's what it describes in the church. They try to make themselves look be holier than thou type thing. They make everything look glitzy and glamorous because on the low they really hide the fact that they're really not Christ-like all the way. And they try to dictate and judge people when they're not in a predicament that's judged because they're not close enough to Christ. They're not really walking in the ways of Christ because they're forgetting about the spirituality. They're not really relating spiritually to the essence of what we all supposed to do.
Amen.
Like our conversation last night, like you made me like see something like when we all are. I don't know if I'm jumping too ahead. You might get to this later, but how basically because of what happened, we was all granted to be kings and priests.
Mm-hmm.
That made, like when you brought that out yesterday, like that made so much sense, and it made so much sense for each individual to always have a personal connection to the Most High. And I don't really think these individuals are trying to have a real connection with the Most High. They're just trying to do what they do for show and act holier than thou and really don't have the concept of connecting or building their own relationship with the God. That's what I'm
Hey,
I've been pondering all night about that, so that's what it is.
amen. And if we're talking about the Bible, right? There's no reason why you're telling me about your elder. There's no reason why you're bringing up fringe. There's no reason why you're bringing up pork. If we're having a serious conversation about our spirituality and how to get closer to Christ, the last thing they bring up is Christ. They want to bring up all of this carnal stuff, trying to make it seem like they got some type of authority or some type of power or know-how and knowledge, and that they know more than you because they are doing things visible on the outside that they feel that you're not doing, that you're supposed to do. Nothing to do with Christ. Nothing at all to do with Christ. But it's all about that physical appearance. And a sister online, she said, the Pharisees and Sadducees spirit. That's exactly what it is. It never left. It never left. And hey, all it did was it came under the guise of Hebrew Israelites. That's what it did. And hey, be mad at me all y'all want to. That's exactly what happened. It transferred over. So now, verse, you ready to go to verse 6, brother? Okay, then it says, and love the uppermost rooms at feast and the chief seats in the synagogues. Man, hey, if this ain't the everybody want to be a deacon and a priest and etc. inside of the camps that we see, everybody want to have some type of power to tell other people what they can and cannot do. They want to treat it like a military, and everybody want to be in rank just so they can tell other people what to do. It's like, I don't. It's weird. It's weird. Oh, yes, sir. Okay, then. All right, so verse 7. And it says, and greetings in Damascus, and to be called of men, Rabbi, Rabbi. But be not ye called Rabbi, for one is your master, even means indeed, indeed Christ. And all ye are brethren. So now, nobody, look, this is what Christ did. He put everybody on the same level. Instead of calling this person master and that person master, he said, all of y'all are brothers. Ain't no master except Christ. So all of y'all are on the same level. So all this rank stuff, this is for the birds because Christ spoke against it. But you want me to keep going?
Yeah, I love this right here.
And call no verse. Okay.
Before we go, like, and I don't know how many people that really be tuning in and stuff like that is heavy into some of the, into the Israel doctrine.
Yes, sir.
Like, but they gonna be mad at this stuff because they know that's them and the people above them at their so-called churches or schools or whatever. And but I think they're gonna make up stuff in their head to say that's not us, you're talking about somebody else and come up with different stuff. But the truth is what it is. Like if you can really self-reflect, this is you or somebody above you as quote unquote above you and wherever you're learning from. But you see here that Christ said we are brethren, like we are equal and nobody is the master but him.
Amen.
Like, and it's just that simple. He doesn't lie, he doesn't make mistakes. He said that. But when you come out with other things by skipping around saying that, oh yeah, we have to have this set up like an army and stuff. And I've heard all of those things, man, from my brothers and sisters out here that really don't get a clear understanding. But that was destroyed right here. It's like it was destroyed at this time. Christ destroyed all of that talk. He said, listen, y'all all equal. And from now on, just worried about me being the master, just me, and y'all gotta be on the same playing field. You know what I mean? Because I mean, I don't know. Let's go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. You go ahead, man. You vibing, man. Go ahead, brother.
Man, I'm personally invested in how I feel about this type of stuff anyway. You know what I mean? So this stuff needs to stop. This is why Israel is destroying itself out here because of this type of stuff right here. You know, everybody holding down and stuff like that, thinking it better. Or, you know what I mean? That's what's really destroying Israel altogether. So that's just another story.
Indeed, yes, sir. So now, and you know, just for everybody out there, let it be known that the only master, the only chief, the only commander, the only king is Christ, nobody else. So now, this is, amen. In verse 9, and it says, "And call no man your father upon the earth, for one is your